welcome to Speakers on Edge. We're doing 15 minutes of fame where we have voices of vision sharing messages that matter. Today, my guest is Lynn. Lynn, who are you?
I'm doing great, Jace. I gotta say, your energy is definitely contagious.
In a good way, I hope.
Wonderful way. I was about to jump off my chair over here.
So tell us, who are you?
Well, first and foremost, I am an immigrant of the United States. I came here when I was 18. I am currently a financial advisor, financial risk management advisor, working in the United States. I based out of Reston, Virginia, right about 40 minutes away from Washington, D.C. So that's going to be very easy for you to find me. Um, and I think that's pretty much it for a very quick introduction. Do you have any specific question for me or anything?
Yeah, I see you're being very coy here because I have your bio, and it's not your typical. When I read it, because okay, folks, for people to be on the show, they fill out an application form telling us who they are.
Yes.
Your bio is, I have two words: child protege.
Oh, I'm flattered. I'm flattered. Okay, so you
Now,
want me to go with the bio.
why would I call you a child protege?
I started playing the piano when I was 4 years old. I then came to the United States at age 18, and I completed my bachelor degree, my master degree, and my doctorate degree all back to back. So I had been in school, I want to say, about 25 years of my life, with piano as my focus. And I officially became a doctor of musical arts in piano performance when I was 29 years old. So is that what you were referring to,
That's what
Jay?
and what was involved in that doctorate? Because I
Um,
know what was involved, but people watching don't.
well, first and foremost, a lot of money.
Yeah, your student loans must be horrific.
I'm actually really fortunate to have a family who does very comfortably in Vietnam, and my father actually was the one person who funded my entire education. So I am very lucky not to have any student loan. And what was involved? That is a very good question. Well, outside of the money, that was a lot of tears, sweat, and blood from my end. I remember, especially in the doctorate program, because I live in this country and the expenses are very, very expensive. I always try to make some kind of money at least to cover my phone bills and my living expenses. But as an F1 visa student, it was extremely difficult for a student to, like just go out there and look for job opportunities. Indeed, if you don't have a work permit, a lot of people will not let you work at all. So you're kind of in that gray zone, you're stuck, you have things to buy, things to pay for, especially books are really, really expensive too. But then on the other hand, you are a full time student who are working day and night just to complete your degree. So it was a dilemma itself. And I remember there were days in my doctorate program where I would go to school to teach a course in the university that I attended. I would go to school around 8, and then during the afternoon I would take lessons or take like the courses, and then after that I would rush into private piano lessons for my students. And by the time that I got home, it was 9 p.m., but then there was still homework. So I had to stay up, usually up until 2 or 3 in the morning, to finish all my writings. And then the next day, the the vicious cycle re continued.
What was the greatest pleasure from doing your doctorate? Because we hear all the time about the struggles and having to get the money and the hours, the long hours, and the crazy documents that you've got to type up.
Yep.
And the amount of stuff you've got to insert into your brain. But what was the greatest joy in it?
The joy, Jace, was the people. It absolutely was the people that God kind of delivered to me on the journey. So as you probably can tell, I am the biggest social butterfly that you'll ever meet. So whenever I am in a certain environment, I always try to go out there and meet with as many people as I can. So now I'm pretty sure that I have a very large network of piano teachers of all levels that I can just refer to pretty much anyone who come across my path. And I made a tons of friends when I was in school. My mentor, Dr. Linda A. Monson at George Mason University, she was a wonderful, wonderful person. And she also amplified my talent as well. I remember, so here are a few highlights of my career. I have performed for the First Lady of Panama when she came back to the area for a school reunion, and I have performed in beautiful, beautiful mansions. Think about like mansions with 10 or 20 bedrooms with Tiffany windows. So those are wonderful experience that I will never forget, and also all the people that involved in my journey. There was this wonderful gentleman named Sid Dewberry who was very involved in the donation and scholarship funding for the School of Music, and I actually had the privilege to perform for him privately at his office every Tuesday for an entire summer back in 2018. So those were just a few highlights of the people that I met and the wonderful experience that I would not have been privileged to have if not for the doctorate degree at George Mason University.
That's a pretty incredible journey.
Thank you so much.
What's your why? Why do you do this?
One word: legacy. So, my family in Vietnam has a very long and pretty well respected, highly educational history. My grandfather used to be a principal at the village high school where where he was where he was living, and he was also a French teacher. So, and then after that, he had 10 children, and every single one of them went to college and completed their degree, and then became CEOs. We had like chemists, accountants, doctors, and just very, very highly educated people in my lineage on my dad's side. So it was up to me to carry on the family legacy. And then now that I work in finance, my biggest why right now is my 4-year-old daughter. I want her to also continue the lineage in education, and I want her to have all the opportunity to not only go to the best public school in the Fairfax County in Virginia, but also I also want to have the right resource to put her in the best environment, including private school or, top of the mountain type of institution in education. So those are my biggest whys.
And how are you helping people today?
Oh, I am so happy that you asked that, because this is what I love talking about. I kept hearing people telling me that, oh my God, every time I talk about finance, my eyes just start lighting up. So yes, today I work in finance. So I do everything from personal finance to business finance, business consultation. And I also do a lot of writing on my LinkedIn as well, because I believe in education first. So number one, how do I help people? People who are not ready to talk about their own finance and feel very uncomfortable with that topic can easily go on my LinkedIn or my website at mymoneyumbrella.com, and they can read all of my educational posts and learn very helpful tips and tricks when it comes to personal finance. When I meet with a person in, like a one-on-one setting, I always lead with education. I go into their risk management portfolio, their basic, wealth accumulation and investment strategy. I look into their retirement planning and legacy distribution just to make sure everything is set up properly and ready for the next 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years of their life. And then I would recommend the right solutions if I find any gaps or holes. Now, on another level as well, I can help business owners and big institutions like George Mason University install benefit packages for their employees. On one hand, it saves the employer a lot on taxes. On the other hand, it takes care of the employees and show that the institution or the business truly, truly care about their people. So those are the three main things that I do.
And this is great for somebody who's in America.
Yes.
Now, I have people watching the show from all over the world, multiple countries. How can you help them?
Okay, that's easy. Number one, get a grip of your own finance. I have talked to a lot of people who make a lot of money and then at the end of the month still ask themselves, where did all my money go? It's because you don't have a plan, you do not have a balance sheet, you do not take the time to sit down and actually review your finance. But let me ask you a question. If you don't know how your finance is doing, how are you living on a day-to-day basis? How do you think you can plan for the next 20 years or 30 years or 40 years of your life? Because let's be honest, there are two things that are certain in life, only two things: death and taxes. And if you don't know how you're doing in your own personal finance, how do you prepare for when those two things happen? Taxes can always go up or it could go down. Do you have a plan for that? And death and sickness, they're just inevitable. People don't like to talk about those things because my mom is a case in point. She always tell me, Ling, do not ever talk about death, because for some reason, if you don't talk about it, it's not going to happen. Is that the thinking process? I don't think so, right? So I am all for getting a grip, have a good picture of your situation today so you can plan accordingly for the next 10 years or 30 years or even 50 years of your life. I'm all about planning. And that's why they put me in finance. Or God put me in finance.
Yep. I mean, it's great that you're in finance. For the average person who can be watching this today, they're not managing their finances very well.
Yep.
Exactly. Isn't somebody like you too expensive for us to hire to sort out our finances? Is there a way for people at different levels to get access to you?
Absolutely. The number one thing that I do that all my clients love so much is the very first initial meeting, where I do not charge a single dime for my free education. The second thing is, again, back to my LinkedIn, because I write a lot of educational posts and pretty much anyone can learn from them. I talk anything about, like getting your expenses in line, have a good saving account for the next 3 to 6 months of your fixed expenses. Very easy things that people can do without even knowing about the tax code or all the nuances with retirement accounts. So I cover all of those in my writings. And for an average person, this is what I would advise everybody, even if you become my clients in the future or not. But number one, you need to have a good risk management portfolio. That includes life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance, health insurance, any kind of insurance that could cover you when the unexpected events happen. Number two, you need to have a consistent saving that is ongoing. It's not, I don't care if you get like you win a big lottery ticket or something today, but you still need to have a plan, and it needs to be an ongoing thing. Don't think about, okay, today I'm going to save $50 because I ran into this big, bag of money, and then tomorrow I can barely afford a Starbucks, a Starbucks latte or something like that. It's because you don't have a plan and you do not know the full picture of your finance. I would definitely encourage everyone to sit down in a quiet room and just look into what you are forced to spend every single month. That's called fixed expenses. So mortgage, rent, subscription, grocery, maybe Netflix, Netflix account. A lot of people really, really need that to live these days. But those things needs to be written out so that those are the things that you cannot negotiate with. And then after that, maybe I hope that everybody has something else left over. We call that disposable expenses, where you don't really need them to live on a day-to-day basis, but you have this left over. Now, what do you do with that? You save. You save before you go out and have that one extra drink with your friend, because you need to live below your means, especially if you are just like any average person out there. So those are the very basic tips and tricks that I tell everybody about.
It's really important because I've been doing accounting myself since I was 12 years old. And I understand the whole thing about the savings. And my mum always taught me, always have a little something up your sleeve for those emergencies. And it's one of those things where it's tucked away and you always know it's there, but you forget about it.
Yeah.
And when something goes wrong and you're between a rock and a hard place, oh, that's right, I've got that up my sleeve.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it's exactly the tip you need to get over the hump, to get back on track.
Yep, that's right.
And financial literacy is so important. It's so important.
Thank you so much for saying that.
How can people find you?
Yes, sir. So people can easily find me on my website, mymoneyumbrella.com. Right now, I am actively building an email list so that I could start, sending out email campaigns every single week on Tuesday, or they can find me on LinkedIn. Of course, we will exchange the link so that we can put it on for people to easily find me. But yes, you are going to be very surprised when you go on my LinkedIn, because when I write on LinkedIn, I am nothing like, like button up businesswoman. I talk about pretty much everything from finance to leadership.
Excellent.
To my personal experience and all the people around me. And I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem promoting for business owners as well. So always try to do everything.
Well, Lynn, that's amazing. We'll also have you on our website, on the Speakers on Edge website, and on our 15 Minutes of Fame guest page. There'll be a button there linking to you as well. Thank you for being on the show today. That's 15 Minutes of Fame. Well, we've gone a little bit over time. Shh, don't tell anyone. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.